besides a better vaccine rollout, what are some of the changes of perception in society? What are some of the things that we really need to work on to hit this number?
So it really is honestly just about the vaccine rollout, in the sense that, I think there's two things. One is it's about the vaccine rollout largely, and then it's also about a challenge of accepting COVID in the community. Like, we 1,000% have to live with COVID. You know, that is the world that we're moving towards. So the challenge here is, first of all, okay, do we have enough doses? The answer is clearly yes. Like, we will be drowning in Pfizer in 2 months' time. We have enough vaccines to vaccinate everyone just with Pfizer alone by the end of the year. So that's not going to be a problem. The challenge is actually kids. Now, this is where it's really tricky. Is we say 80%, and the reason we say that is when I was talking before about the reproduction rates. If the reproduction rate's on the high side, then you need 80% to avoid sort of having it blow up and blowing up your hospital system. Because if it gets out of hand, this is really important, is if it gets out of hand, your hospitals basically are out of action for 3 months. You know, because what would happen is you would do what we're doing now. You would lock down before you get there, and then it's just a longer lockdown. This is why we always said COVID zero, because the alternative of letting it go ended up with a political response anyway, and then you're in a longer lockdown for longer. So it is about hitting that 80% number. We think that's the sort of number the government should be aiming for. Now, the National Cabinet Plan is not 80% of the population, and I think this is getting lost in the debate. It's 80% of eligible adults.
Yes, so what is that of the whole population?
So 70% of eligible adults is about 55%.
Right.
And 80% of eligible adults is about 65%.
Yeah.
So more or less.
Yeah.
So they're actually aiming for a much lower number than we are. And on our numbers, it looks like there's problems when you hit that open at those lower numbers. It's much riskier. Now, it may be fine. Maybe you reopen and we find out the reproduction number was lower than we thought. But as I said, it's a one-shot game. So if you get it wrong, you don't get a second bite of the cherry. Like then you're in the UK or the London style world. Sorry, the New York world where things are running away from you. So
what makes you ineligible? So eligible adults.
So 16 and up at the moment is the population that they framed the vaccine targets around. We've now just opened it up to 12-year-olds, I think. So we think you could get there by the end of the year if you have a vaccine available for kids over 5. Now, that's tricky and the reason it matters is because kids don't get sick that often, but they are vectors for transmission. That is how it jumps between households, if I can put it that way. In the same way as essential workers are the way it's jumping between households now in Sydney.
Yeah.
And so if you can't get a vaccine for kids, you are looking at more like March.